Say, I'm impressed that y'all are here so early. This is good. This is very good. I want to welcome you to the 2023 annual meeting. And I need to thank everyone for making it a priority to be here. I think it's been a good time. Was the first day one good? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. So before we get started today, I thought we'd take just a moment of silence. We lost some really dear friends unexpectedly this year. Dawn Stewart, Debbie Hurl, and most recently, John Heisey. And they all impacted our industry in really important ways. And it makes me really sad. So just a moment of silence, please. Okay, I know that their memories will live on among us. We have to continue to tell their stories and just remember them with each other. I think that's super important. I do have an announcement before we get started today, or a couple. Winnie is going to be teaching a skirting demonstration, sorry, not a class, next door in, right next door to this today during lunch. She's going to be doing, we've had a lot of questions about skirting, so she's one, she's going to teach it. She said she will do both a Wakaya and a Surrey, please, if there is time. So those who are interested, you know, take your lunch over and you can join her and watch that being done. And thank you for doing that, Winnie. And also, we had, who was it that canceled? Dan Kelty, right? He had a death in his family, so he is not going to make it tomorrow. So we're moving the schedule up. So Cheryl will actually speak at 11 a.m. Then we'll have lunch and we'll actually be done. We'll do closing early tomorrow. So if you're coming to Cheryl's, 11 a.m. Winnie skirting at noon today. Okay. So with that, I'm going to take just a few minutes. Well, Jennifer soon is going to take a few minutes to reflect on 2022. That's what this is about. But we're going to look at this year so far as well to acknowledge some of what we're working on and have worked on and important plans that we've made that are not just a reflection of the board and of the staff. It's all of you. It's all of those. There's so many hours that are put in by committee members, task force members, volunteers. You all know because you're doing it. You're the ones that are engaged. You're here. So we could not do it without you. Thank you so much. Ultimately, supporting the mission to help all of our members succeed in this industry is what our guide is. And we're always thinking about how we can help facilitate the success for all types of alpaca owners. And the goal is just to positively impact you. I hope you'll share your experiences that you're having here. If you're on social media, please share them. #AlpacaConference. We love that. Gets it to the public. That's really worked out well for us, believe it or not. But anyway, for now, I'll stop, and I'm going to introduce or bring up our president, Jennifer Hack. So give it up for her. Let's get rid of that.
Thank you, everybody, and I want to welcome you again. I hope you're all having a fantastic time, and as you experience this event, like Robin said, please share on your social media with your friends. We really like to see the positive effect this event is having on everybody. Yesterday, you heard from our keynote speaker, Dr. Kylie Menard. We are privileged to bring her from the far reaches of Australia due to the generous sponsorship of Lynn Edens of Little Creek Alpaca Farms and Snowmass Alpacas. We can thank Carrie Harding at Eagle Eye Farm for keeping the coffee in your cup and making sure you have plenty of snacks each day as our hospitality sponsor. Providing you with breakfast this morning is compliments of Ginger and Amber Gerke of Fulcrum Farms. They're our annual meeting sponsor. And if you haven't looked at the amazing photos submitted by our members, please check them out. We're able to give cash prizes this year due to the photo and video contest sponsor, Jackie King of Surrey & Company. And please thank Harvest Host for being a generous conference sponsor, and Kern and Rhonda Deschner of Tierra Prometida Alpacas for sponsoring the Fleece Show. Bringing you the speakers you're learning from this weekend, please thank seminar sponsors Justin and Cara McElroy of Buckbrook Alpacas, Scott and Debbie Miller of Crescent Moon Ranch, and Gina Glasscock of Legendary Alpacas of Texas. Our workshop sponsors include Tim and Beth Sheets of Heritage Farm Surrey Alpacas, Harriet Neubauer of Two Hearts Alpaca Ranch. Please thank Leslie Rebtoy of Healing Springs Surreys and Barb and Mark Sodoms of Shepherd's Creek Alpaca for your welcome bag. I'd like to thank the Kentucky Alpaca Association for your support for this event this weekend, and we have a generous group of Friends of Fleece. There are so many of them, actually, that you can see their logos and ranch names out on the board outside, and you can see their sponsor ribbons on their badges, so please, if you see them, give them a thank you as well. We're very grateful for everyone's support. Without them, we can't put this event on. We've had a lot of help with our success this year, starting with my fellow board members from 2022 and 2023. I ask that each of you stand, please, as I call your name. Some of them, unfortunately, had to go home, one of which is Vice President Michael Livingston. Treasurer Lynn, where are you, Lynn? Oh, right, she had to go. Secretary Mary Miller, unfortunately, couldn't be here. Directors Rhonda Deschner. Winnie Lebrecq. Sharon Milligan. And Scott Miller. Oh, Brian, he's not on here. Anyway, we all put countless hours of hard work and discussed and debated, and I have to say it's just an absolute pleasure to serve with these people on this board. Our discussions are fantastic, and we truly want what's best for the organization and its members. It's just been an absolute pleasure serving with all of you, so thank you. Many hours were donated by committee members, event volunteers, task force members, and more. This is where the work gets done. Thank you to all who give your time, and I encourage any of you here today to volunteer with your affiliate or a committee that resonates with you. This event, the National Show, and many of our programs and services are possible because of members give beyond their membership dues. There are a group of members who are faithful in their financial support of AOA through sponsorship and by becoming benefactors. Again, you can know who our sponsors and benefactors are by the ribbon and name tag and signage. If you see them, please thank them. And finally, thank you to the team in Lincoln who takes all of your calls and works to help in every way. We as an organization are absolutely blessed to have such hardworking individuals who are dedicated to seeing AOA thrive and grow. And I would really like to take a special time to thank our amazing executive director, Robin. So to all of those I just mentioned, and Brian, thank you. There'll be a theme now. Our treasurer, Lynn Edens, has once again done an amazing job and had to return to the farm. So Robin will be giving you the financial report.
Look it in so y'all can see. She does this to me on purpose, you know. Lynn does. Well, okay, Dee. Oh. See, I just have to say her name. I tell you, she sits right outside my office, my office, in the office, and all day long. It's like, Dee. I'm going to change your name on me. Okay, so we look back at 2022, and we're well into 2023, so we'll touch on that a little bit, too. First of all, here we go. Here's our end of year from 2022. So as you can see, we did pretty darn good at doing our guesstimates, right? Our budget to actual for revenue. We were right spot on. We were a little higher or a little lower on expenses. And as you know, for all of your farms, expenses are tough to wrangle this time of year, with inflation the way it is. And you can see we ended up a little higher than we should. We ended up net net to the good, 42,000. We budgeted to lose 17, so we think we did a pretty good job. Now, know that when you look at this number, it does not, we do take out depreciation and amortization, which is about $18,000. That's our software, our computer equipment. Yes? Oh, sorry. Supposed to use this, excuse me. We also, and I'll show you this too, if you look at our core metrics, the board decided last year to remove our investment income from the operating budget. It's still in our balance sheet, it's on our audit, but just because it was skewing operations so much, I mean, it wasn't affecting us in real time, obviously, but you know, it'd be up one month, down the next, up, down. So we weren't really getting a good picture. So that's removed from the operating budget that you just saw over here. So core metrics. So our cash flow is steady, positive, cash on hand. This is where we ended last year. Accounts receivable, accounts payable. We pay within 30 days. So no problem there. That was paid out immediately. Operating reserves. Here, this is something else the board decided to do last year, and I think it was a pretty smooth move, y'all. We separated, instead of just having an investment account, one big investment account, we separated it out into operating reserves and a strategic fund. What that is, so operating reserves, obviously we have to, according to our bylaws and our policies, we have to keep 6 months of operating expenses from the year before. So whatever our expenses were from the year before, we have to keep 6 months of that in our operating reserves just in case. We did have that in cash. CDs started paying a little bit more, not a lot, but a little bit more this year. When we saw 5%, we're like, let's go. So what we do is we invest that in 3-month CDs, or we invest it in annual, so year-long CDs, but we have it so that they're maturing every 3 months. So God forbid we would get into trouble, we would have that. So it's safe and sound, and that is growing, so that's good. Our strategic fund, that's the remainder of the investment budget, and what that is for is, should something come up that the board deems really important to move this organization forward, they could decide to use that fund to do so. But there's pretty strict parameters around it. It's got to be able to pay itself back in a set amount of time. So nobody's going to go out and just get crazy and spend that money. We've not touched it in the year yet, so, and no plans to do yet, but it, you know, we don't know. Something could come up. But that is what that strategic fund is. So you see our total investment at 1.1. Our change, last year, we lost $105,000 due to the lovely market. That's just market. Okay. Now, this year, I only have through May. So far, our cash flow is good. Operating reserves, you can see, have gone up just a little bit. Our total investments are a change of $24,000 to the good. Revenue and expense is right on. I mean, this is just what we're operating in right now. Again, this is pre this conference expense and income, and I think that's it. No investment income in this, because that, again, is not in our operating budget. But we're doing pretty well. We're scrappy sometimes, but we do well. Okay, the full audited financials, you can see them. They are online. Our 990s are posted. You can call me or a board member anytime. We are fully transparent if you have any questions about it, and you'll be able to see the annual report, which will also have our audited financials in it online. That's it. Thank you. Sorry.
No, you're good. Thank you, Robin. So each year, the board develops goals to support the strategic plan initiatives. This is our last year in our 3-year plan. Before we talk about what's ahead, I want to touch on a few of our bigger accomplishments from January 2022 till now. I encourage you to look at the larger list of accomplishments on our annual report, but some of the following deserves a mention. First, as Robin mentioned, we created a strategic mission-driven fund separate from our operating fund, which essentially will allow us to invest in ourselves if that's what the board deems will help move this organization forward. We established an active driven youth committee, offered youth halter and youth judging at several shows. We set a goal and registered over 5,000 alpacas in 2022. So we need to get busy registering alpacas this year. The National Show Points was started last year, and it is definitely having the desired effect, which is to increase excitement and participation in our show system. Just from 2022 to 2023, comparing those years in the spring shows, halter show entries are up 17.5%, and fleece show entries increase is even greater at almost 23%. That's very good news. And our big, hairy, audacious goal, which Robin has been pushing as long as I have known her, we established the National Alpaca Foundation. Robin, I think, will touch more on the foundation a little bit later, but we are obviously looking for our founding members, our founder club members, which is 100 people who want to donate a certain amount of money over the next 5 years will be listed for eternity as a founder club member. So I encourage all of you to think about what that organization can do and how it can help move our industry forward, and hopefully all of you are willing to support that. If you have any questions or want to donate to it, you can either talk to myself, Scott Miller, or Robin. And before I turn it over to Robin, I want to encourage all of you to talk to any and all of the board members here. We're very open, we're very transparent, and we definitely want to hear from you.
Yeah. Okay. All right, I'm back. Here I am. Okay, so I want to echo that, the really big thank you to the board, our committees, volunteers, sponsors, benefactors. I mean, come on, you just saw our budget. That's what makes it happen, so thank you. Anyway, I also want to thank my team from Lincoln, because God knows, I wouldn't be standing here with all this happening without them. They really know, believe me. So with us here today is our event coordinator who puts all this together, and that's Alyssa Winterfeld. I think she's probably out front. Our show system administrator, Margie Alt, who just came down from the fleece room making that happen. Our IT manager, Dee Monson, where is she? She's also a photographer, yeah. Finance and HR director, Dan Huntley in the back. Yep. Volunteer extraordinaire, Alyssa's mom, Cindy Winterfeld, who I think is out front as well. Yep. Dan's husband, Ron Royers, back on the camera and doing music for me. And last but hardly least, our lovely PR director, or director of PR. You are, yeah. Cindy Berman. Yeah. Cindy Morrow. Sorry. Wasn't even there back then, right? Yeah. Okay. I think I'm messed up here. And there we go. All right. Just looking at some of the things that we've done. Oh, hold on. Did we go the wrong way? Oh my gosh, okay. I'm back with you. See, this is what happens when somebody's not turning the pages for me. All right. The board spent all day Thursday. Actually, it wasn't all day. It was a record-setting time. I think we were done by 3:15 or 3:30. That was really good. But they spent planning for next year, and we did things just a little bit different. We really focused on simplifying everything, and that's kind of our goal, clarification and simplifying. I mean, we're in the alpaca business. You're in the alpaca business. You know that a lot of what we do gets really complicated, but we're going to stop that. We're looking at the simple way of doing it. Anyway, so instead of coming up with a long list of goals, we're going to continue to do what we're doing really well, executing the new things that have come about from last year, and focusing on, as Jennifer said, our BHAG, our big, hairy, audacious goal, which is technology. We concluded a full tech assessment this year. And we know that to increase efficiencies and to create a positive user experience, our tech needs an overhaul. It's a multi-year endeavor. It's going to be not easy, but it's got to be done. But I'm excited, and the board sees the necessity in this and the opportunities. And again, it's to benefit not just the efficiencies in-house, but also all of you and how you use our technology. So that's pretty exciting. We'll see what happens with that. It is a multi-year phase, so we'll keep you updated. Okay, so the National Alpaca Foundation. That is kind of something I've been knocking on that door for a long time, so I think since day one. And it is a separate organization. I want to be really clear about that. And it's to support the larger alpaca community. So I think there's been some questions about that. We actually had a board member, Sue King, when I talked to her, she said, I don't want to sit on a board that's just going to, try and raise money to funnel it into programs that, just aren't making it or whatever. I said, that is in no way what anybody wants to do with this foundation. It's got to be a standalone, and it's got to fund the bigger things. So it'd be really, we'd be doing a disservice if we didn't do that. So anyway, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring Carrie Harding up, and I told her she has 2 minutes. Sorry, Carrie. Because she, she's starting the, she has established the Dawn Stewart Memorial Scholarship for us to support large animal vets. But I'm going to let her talk about that because she can say it better than I can, and then I'll be back.
So Dawn has been an animal lover her entire life. So her love of animals far exceeded her love of people. Her first animal was Chief. She found Chief whenever she was 3 or 4 years old. They went on a vacation in the Ozarks of Missouri. It was a stray little dog, and Dawn begged and begged her parents, and finally they gave in to her and brought the dog back with them. And that really was the start of Dawn's love of all animals. Dawn had always wanted to become a vet, but unfortunately, due to financial constraints, was not able to become a vet. She went into human medicine. She was an x-ray tech, and she worked her way up into medical administration. In 2016, life was just monotonous. I'm a physician. She was in medicine, and it was the same thing every single day. We decided to give up our life in St. Louis, Missouri, and enjoy a simpler life. So we moved to Duluth, Minnesota, which is a very small town in northern Minnesota. It took her a couple years to figure out what her next chapter in life was, but it was alpacas. So we went to an alpaca farm in the fall of 2018, bought our first alpaca, and within 6 months had 20. We lived on a 20-acre lot that was on a steep hill with lots of trees, and so Dawn, by herself, with our neighbor, cleared out an entire acre to make it raw land so that we could use it for pasture. That obviously was not going to be sustainable, and so we decided we would move. When we were in Duluth, the nearest vet to us was 90 minutes away. The nearest vet school was 3.5 hours away. So whenever we decided to move, we wanted to move to a place that had more access to veterinary care. So we moved to our current place, which is 45 minutes east of Minneapolis. there. Our nearest vet is 20 minutes from us. Our vet school is 45 minutes from us. And unfortunately, this year, we've used our vet school quite a bit. So in April, Dawn got into the show system. She loved the shows. She loved all of the people of the alpaca industry. Dawn just had a true passion for the AOA, for alpacas, and for the show system. In April, Dawn was at a show in Michigan, and at that show, she called and told me that she wasn't feeling well. That was on Saturday. On Sunday, she still wasn't feeling well. She got caught in a snowstorm on Sunday night. And on Monday, I said, enough is enough. I'm going to meet you at the hospital. So in the alpaca trailer, they dropped her off at the hospital on Monday morning. We thought that she thought she was having gallbladder issues. It turns out that it was not. She was going to go in for a stent. They told me she would be home that night. Unfortunately, she was placed on ECMO, fought the hard fight for 3.5 weeks, and eventually did not make it ever home again. So with all that being said, Robin came to me with the idea of a way to honor Dawn's legacy. And so the board, through the National Alpaca Foundation, has created the Dawn Stewart Scholarship Foundation. And what this is going to help support a vet student that is interested in camelid medicine. Although I would love to say that we had the Dawn Stewart Scholarship not in memory of her, but that is where we're at. So it is my honor to be up here, and I'm very appreciative of this. All right. So in Dawn's honor, I'm going to match funds for this weekend up to the first $10,000. So pull out your pocketbooks. Let's make this big for her. I have also decided that we were going to donate 10% of the store proceeds of our farm store in perpetuum to the Scholarship Foundation. I really believe in the foundation. I believe in the scholarship. I believe in supporting the vet schools, the vet students, and I believe in supporting the industry. So thank you.
Okay, so you heard it there. She's going to match up to $10,000 this weekend of anybody who gives. And here's the deal. So we're really pushing on the founders, and I'm thinking, wow, if one from every table, we'd get a good start, wouldn't we? That's a large amount. It's in the middle. It's $5,000 to be a founder. Once we get 100, we're closing that fund. You do not have to pay it all at once. You can pledge. But here's the deal. Every donation counts. Every donation counts. I've run 2 foundations previous to this. And, you know, I just can think of people who would send $25 every single year. And, I mean, that adds up. My goodness, that adds up. So, you know, if your heart is moved today and you feel like this is a good thing, you can designate it. That's the other thing. Any money you give can be designated or given to a general fund, or maybe you have an idea for a great new fund. It's got to pass by the board. But, you know, today we're talking about the Dawn Stewart Memorial Scholarship. So we're starting with 1 student, but who knows? We hope to give it to more than 1 student. The board's super excited about it. Every single one of them said, heck, you know, if nobody donates, we will, and we're going to get it done. We've all pledged to do that, so I'm excited. So, yeah, I'm kind of pushing on y'all right now, so let us know. Let us know. And thank you. And Dawn, oh my goodness, and Carrie, thank you. And on Dawn's behalf. She'd be so proud, wouldn't she? All right, we're going to move on, because now we are going to find out who the recipient of the Shining Star is. And if you recall, the board also unanimously voted to do 2 James G. King Awards this year. So I'm going to invite Jennifer back up to award our Shining Star. We're just tag teaming.
We are. We do that well. Okay, the Shining Star Volunteer Award. Perhaps there is no greater thank you to a volunteer than to be recognized by one's peers for the generous gift of their time, energy, thought, and skill to others. The Shining Stars Award's purpose is to recognize an outstanding volunteer's efforts or contributions to AOA affiliate, member, or other entity, a group who has performed as one consisting of AOA members. This year's recipient, nominated by Deb Hill, has been involved in both the local affiliate and the national organization for nearly 25 years. He has served on several AOA committees and is still serving on the membership committee. He has also been an influential force on the board and committees of his own affiliate, the Great Lakes Alpaca Association, founding the Wisconsin Alpaca and Fiber Fest. He was also deeply involved with the former Alpaca Fiber Cooperative. Not only has this member been an active member of local and national committees, he continues to volunteer, even while many of us from the same era have decided to reduce our responsibilities. He is still out there giving. He routinely provides online assistance to new alpaca owners through phone calls and several social media sites. In that role, he voluntarily serves as a mentor for those who don't have one. He is very humble and never comes off as a know-it-all, just a good, concerned alpaca owner trying to ensure success. He puts his decades of alpaca experience to work daily on behalf of the industry. You can't ask for a better representative of what a shining star should be. Sarah Donahoe did decide to write something about him, and she said, "I'm pleased to write this testimonial for this year's Shining Star recipient, a fellow alpaca owner and AOA membership committee person who has consistently demonstrated exceptional commitment and enthusiasm in promoting our organization. Through his dedicated efforts, he has played a significant role in raising awareness, fostering partnerships, and driving growth for our organization. He demonstrates a strong understanding of our organizational goals and objectives. He takes the time to familiarize himself with our programs, initiatives, and strategic plan, allowing him to communicate our message and advocate for our cause effectively. His deep knowledge and genuine belief in our organization's mission have made him a trusted and influential committee member. Moreover, he is a team player who willingly collaborates with others to achieve shared goals. He actively seeks opportunities for partnership and collaboration, recognizing the power of collective effort in making lasting impact." Excuse me. He has been a trustworthy committee member and fellow alpaca breeder who garners respect within our organization. Please join me and the board in congratulating our 2023 Shining Star, Eldon Harms.
Wow. Thanks to the Academy, to my producer, Ronell Harms, my director, Ronell Harms, all that she does to support me. Yeah, this is amazing. When I first learned I was going to be awarded this, I thought, you got to be kidding me. Because I think of how many others in our industry are put in as much as I do, are dedicated to the organization, and put in the volunteer hours. And you know, we have a great staff. Robin went through and named them this morning. Wonderful staff. If you have questions, certainly call them. But I'm sure they would be support me in this statement, and that it's the volunteers that really make this organization work. Without all of the hours, the thousands of hours out there that people put in, we wouldn't have what we have going on. So all of you volunteers, thank you for all the others. When I told my daughters we were getting this award, and I said, you know, there's so many other people that are worthy of this award. Why me? And my daughter said, well, you know what? They can get that award some other year. This is your year for it. So it's great when you see your offspring with such discernment and knowledge, and that helped me kind of walk through the acceptance of this, that, yeah, I guess this is my year. You can do it too. Put in the time and make our organization great. And in the context of ordinary, you know, I think of myself as an ordinary alpaca breeder, just trying to make things work. But ordinary, there's a lot of great things that come from ordinary. Parents that are ordinary can do great things. We're in the grandparent mode, and we try to be good grandparents. And you don't have to be something spectacular. Be yourself. Be ordinary. Make a difference from being ordinary. Ordinary people can do great things. The organization, your affiliate, the national organization needs volunteers. You have your life experiences, you have ideas, bring them forward, get involved. I've been on committees that, you know what, this is not a good fit, so you find another place. Try it out, try it at your affiliate level, try it at the national organization, be on a committee, but bring your talents to the organization. They're needed, and they will be appreciated, and we need it very badly. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
Congratulations again, Eldon. We have another award to bestow upon a worthy member. The board unanimously chose 2 James G. King recipients this year. You know one so far, Bonnie Potter, but we have another here today. And to help me present the J.G. King Award, I want to invite Faye Farley to the stage.
I'm just nervous.
We're just talking to friends.
Give me a minute. Okay. This award, created in 2012, was named in honor of Jim King, a longtime member and board member of both the Alpaca Owners and Breeders Association and Alpaca Registry, Inc., who passed away unexpectedly on April 5th, 2012. Each year, when this award is given, the story of Jim's life and his dedication to the alpaca industry is told. Jim was born on August 5th, 1935, in San Francisco. He graduated from Phillips Exeter Academy, Yale University, and the Harvard Business School. At Yale, he was an All-American lacrosse player, and he later played for many seasons at the Boston Lacrosse Club. Jim and his family lived in Wellesley, Massachusetts before moving to New London in 1992. He spent most of his career in the Boston area as a financial analyst and portfolio manager, working many years at David L. Boston Company. Later, Jim worked at New London Trust and Charter Trust. In 1992, he and his wife, Sue, established Skyview Alpacas. Working the farm allowed him to explore one of his passions, a love of animals. He spent a great deal of his time helping to grow the fledgling alpaca industry. He was involved in regional and alpaca organizations, serving on the board of directors of both the Alpaca Owners and Breeders Association and the Alpaca Registry, Inc. In retirement, Jim was able to embrace many new activities as well as become more active in many areas. His love of singing led to joining the North Country Chordsmen, a barbershop chorus. His love of sports began when he played soccer and lacrosse in prep school and college, and coached his sons through many years of soccer, and was rekindled with tennis, paddle tennis, and sailing. Jim was an active member of Rotary, the Boys Club, and the Lake Sunapee Yacht Club. He was also a longtime camper at AMC's 3 Mile Island and Lake Winnepesaukee. At the time of his passing, Jim was serving the alpaca industry as treasurer of Alpaca Registry, Inc. He was a strong advocate for the alpaca industry and its members, with the goal of having every organization he was involved in maintain the highest level of professionalism and service while continuing to invest in the future of the industry. The James G. King Award recognition is awarded jointly by the AOBA and ARI Boards of Directors to a person or persons who have given of themselves exceptionally and consistently toward the betterment of the alpaca industry. 30 years ago, this year's recipient bought his first alpacas along with his wife. It was then that their love and passion for the industry began and grew. I met these people about 30 years ago. In 1995, he was elected to the AOBA board and served as president. In addition to owning and running several businesses, he owned properties and buildings, which included an office building in Nashville, Tennessee. It was during this time that he donated office space to AOBA so that AOBA could transition from being managed by outside contractors to being managed by AOBA. His passion for marketing and love for alpacas started one of the most successful alpaca marketing programs in alpaca industry. That marketing program was called I Love Alpacas. With a solicitation from 100 alpaca breeders to put in $5,000 each, that program put alpacas on national TV commercials and helped put alpacas on the map in the United States. Alpacas went from 18% of the people ever hearing of alpacas to over 80%. What a giant accomplishment. Over the years, his herd grew to approximately 1,800, making his farm the largest alpaca farm in North America at one point. He and his wife created a truly magical place at Magical Farms. Where they held auctions each year at the farm that brought in over 1,100 alpaca breeders from all across the country. This was the industry go-to event, and each year he would encourage breeders to come, visit, see alpacas, and take advantage of such a large gathering to network themselves in their own farms while they were there. He was adamant that people would bring their business cards and pass them out. I brought my cards.
I got mine. I got mine too.
I brought them, now I just got to figure out how to pass them out, which has been a long-standing joke between us because I'm terrible at it. He was the first farm in the U.S. to establish financing alpacas. Thank God for that, or my farm would not exist. He has helped start hundreds of farms, mine included, over the last 30 years. He has been a strong participant and strong sponsor over the years, and to this day, while Magical Farms is retired, he is still one of the biggest advocates for alpacas and the alpaca business. My husband and I had the pleasure of meeting this man almost 30 years ago, and he has impacted our lives and our business in ways that will last our lifetime. He has taught many of us about alpacas, the alpaca businesses, finances, breedings, marketing, shows. His belief that you can do anything attitude starts with his own belief that you and I actually can. I asked him recently, as he is facing stage 4 cancer, why do you still want to go to alpaca shows? Alpacas are my life. I love alpacas. I love the people and I love the business. To say this alpaca business is a better industry because of people like him is an understatement. The industry is what it is today because of his effort, his belief and the passion he has had and still has for the industry he loves. This year's recipient of the James G. King Alpaca Industry Award is Jerry Forstner.
Wow. All I can say is 30 years ago, I was an entrepreneur, and over the years I started over 30 different businesses, some from scratch, some I bought, some I worked in, everything from oil changes to car washes to mini storages to manufacturing boxes, bags, etc. In 1993, I bought my first alpacas, and it changed my life. The people, the animals, the organization, I just fell in love, and I'm in love ever since, and I still am. Jim King was a close friend of mine. I'm so honored to be able to receive this award in his name. And until this cancer gets me, I'll be at all the shows. Thank you.
Okay, who needs a tissue? Thank you, Faye, for such a great introduction. And okay, is that better? Our last piece of business today is to say thank you to our departing board member, Winnie Lebrecht. Winnie, can you come up and join me? I know.
Your dress.
So Winnie doesn't really need much of an introduction, as she's worked tirelessly on behalf of alpaca owners and fiber over the years. If you haven't taken her sorting and grading class, I highly encourage you to do so. She's helped AOA accomplish a lot in the past 3 years, and it has been a true honor to serve on the board with her. I've really enjoyed getting to know her more personally over the last 3 years, and I know I can speak on the rest of the board that we're going to greatly miss you. So Winnie, please accept the jacket.
The maxi dress for you. This is kind of a joke for her.
And there is a plaque somewhere to commemorate her time on the board. I hope you'll wear it proudly when you're not in the New Mexico heat.
Well, the heat's one thing. I think this is better.
We didn't know it was a men's.
So again, Winnie, thank you for all the hours that you've put in, and I know that you'll continue to put in.
Thank you. We'll do that. Last night, was Stanford with me?
Sure.
I don't know where it is, but that's okay. And just one last note before we go is our new board pretty much stays the same. The officers stay the same, and who you heard from them earlier. But we want to introduce our newest board member, Stacy Chavez. Chavez, I got to say it right. So welcome aboard. All right, and with that, I mean, how do we follow you guys? How do we follow that? Sure.
We're so taken up with the idea of a foundation at Texaland, I'd like to be the first affiliate to step up and be a founder.
You know what? I got to tell y'all something. Before I ever stepped foot in the office at AOA, I had messages from who? Dr. Bob Pulse. And I'm like, who is this dude? And he invited me to my very first alpaca show at Texalon. And it hasn't been 30 years, you guys, but it's been 4. And it's been such a great ride, and I thank you for that. And you know what, Bob? You're a driver. I think everybody that knows him would say that. You're a driver, but you're making things happen. And y'all sponsor, I mean, you were the first affiliate to actually sponsor the national show, and now you're doing this, so thank you. Thank you. Texalon. And that's a match. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, and we will now go back to education. All right.